What's going on, guys? This is Gemini. I have a very special video today. We're doing my 500 subscriber special where I am answering all of your questions from all of my Ask Me Anything posts on Instagram and the video that I made. We have passed the 500 subscriber mark. I'm pretty excited about it, honestly. I never thought I would make it this far. Also, we're gonna have some fun. I got some Templeton Rye here, some Dr. Pepper, mixing it up a little bit. So if you want to grab a drink and sit back, I'm gonna try and have a little fun with this. Just pause the video now, go grab your drink, and then have fun. So, all right. Hopefully you're back with your drink. I got mine right here. Just gonna take a sip. Go ahead and get started with these questions. I'm gonna start off on Instagram. So we'll start off with Raul Ortiz 6 on Instagram, and also everybody that asks questions, I'll go ahead and leave in the description their Instagram or their YouTube channel. So first question from Raul Ortiz 6 on Instagram is, when can we ride again? Also, what do you do for a living? So I answered his question about riding again, and I told him pretty much anytime I go out riding, so I'm going to go ahead and hit him up. I love riding. If you're local, you know, DM me on Instagram, leave something in the comments, and let's go out and ride. That's why I do this. As far as what I do for a living, I've spoken to this in some of my other videos, but some of the people might be new here. So I'm actually a construction inspector. What that means is I do sampling, testing, observation, quality control of all things in construction. I'm certified in several ICC certifications, which is the International Code Council, so they are international certifications as well for the standards in construction practices. I'm certified in reinforced concrete, masonry, bolting, and then I also have soils and pre-stressed concrete as well. So a little bit boring, but that's what I do. It makes good money. It's a union job, and it gives me benefits, and it lets me do what I love to do. So next question is from IAM_Zechariah_, and his question is, how often you look back at it? And the answer to that's every time. Anytime I walk away from the R1, I look back at it, baby. I mean, whew, it is a sexy bike, so not gonna lie there. Great question though. And then next question, and this is still on Instagram, is at SJMudTurtle Cruises. Are you not showing your face because you're really hot and don't want to have to disappoint the ladies because you're married? I am not showing my face because I look like Freddy Krueger after he got hit by a bus. No, I'm just kidding. I'll eventually show my face. Actually, for some of the people I probably don't know, I plan on doing a face reveal if I hit 1,000 subscribers. So, I mean, we're halfway there. Is it possible? Yes. Likely? I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm excited for that. And if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find me. And next on Instagram, we have at Peta Kim with 2 E's and 2 M's. I think you also mentioned that you used to ride dirt bikes. Would you start riding them again? Yeah, actually, I would love to get a dirt bike eventually in the future. I just have other motivations at the moment. I didn't ride them very extensively, but I did go out and ride in the desert a few times. Like, you know, it was like a vacation thing. We'd go out and my dad had dirt bikes, we'd ride them. I was never really insanely good, but I had some experience riding, and it did translate. Not heavily, but it did translate a little bit. You know, having some experience on a motorcycle is better than absolute zero. But I'd like to get dirt bikes, honestly. Even if they were just little 50s, just something to go out, like if we go out in the desert, want to do some off-roading stuff, I think it'd be fun. And then also, Peter Kim, are there any bikes that you want to buy secondary? And I mean, anybody would tell you yes to this question, pretty much, right? I mean, everybody wants to have more and more, but realistically speaking, there are pretty much like 2 bikes that I would like to have. I'd like to have a like hyper naked, and I would like to have something that I can do touring on. Honestly, like, I'm not opposed to something like a Goldwing, a Honda Goldwing, with like a touring package and a DCT. Just something to take my wife on the back of, because there, for one, is no seat and no rear foot pegs on the R1, and for two, even if there were, it would be very uncomfortable and she would want to get off after like 20 minutes. But something that we could do long distance rides on in the future, maybe when I'm older, a Goldwing would be cool. And then I want to get a Hyper Naked because I'd like to do the canyon stuff still and get to ride around, but have something a little more comfortable, and then also be able to convert the R1 into a fully track ready bike, which may or may not happen. I don't know. We're going to have to see. I have to do some track days first and see if I like it that much more, or if I like the canyon riding stuff. But also the Hyper Naked would be cool just for when I want to go out and cruise and just, you know, enjoy nature. I do enjoy doing that as well. So good question. And then we have at Antonius _ HD114CI. Have you done Iron Butt 1,000 miles in under 24 hours? No. Oh, this is tough here. We'll do it, I swear. We'll do it. Where's that straw? No, I have not done the Iron Butt with the 1,000 miles under 24 hours. The most I've done was like 600 and something, where I rode up, I did the group ride video, but I rode up like through Ojai, all the way to Solvang from Los Angeles. So, and I did like a little zigzag here and there. It was about 600 miles, but that was honestly a lot. So that's it for the Instagram questions. There are a lot more questions on the YouTube video than there are on Instagram. So we're going to start off on the YouTube videos. So this is going to be from Hippo-Drones on YouTube. Amazing motovlogger, taught me like 90% of what I know about motovlogging. Always super helpful. Shout out to Hippo-Drones. I wouldn't be where I am today without him for sure. Really cool guy. Really cool bikes. He rides Moto Guzzi's, and I actually enjoy his content a lot. So question 1. How do you think you've changed since starting motovlogging versus now? And this is a really, really good question that I could get very, very in-depth in. I'm trying to limit my questions here in terms of time so that the video doesn't draw on and get really boring. But the main way that I've changed from when I started motovlogging versus now, I'm going to go with like personality related stuff rather than like, okay, I've gotten better at riding. I've become much, much more outgoing and extroverted. I'm typically very much an introvert, believe it or not. I still feel camera shy every time I'm filming or in front of the camera. But meeting all the other motovloggers, talking to people on Instagram, meeting new bikers in real life has taught me a lot about socializing. And since I've grown from about the age of like 24, 25-ish to now where I'm 29, where I had my main career too, in construction and just the motovlogging and everything, I've definitely become much, much more extroverted and making small talk and just mingling with people better. But it also helps to have a medium, you know, some common ground to connect with other people, to break the ice, you know, they say. So motorcycles are amazing, and motovlogging has been awesome, and it's helped me also de-stress and come to actualizations about myself, because when you're talking out loud, believe it or not, there's a little something special, and when you go back and listen to the things that you're saying, it's also very special because it gives you a completely different perspective than just what you're thinking in your head. So even as I'm saying this right now and processing it, it becomes all the more real. A little bit of a deep question, but I really appreciate it because it's a very good one. Thank you, Hippo. And then his other question is another really good question. 300 cc's versus 1000 cc bikes. Do you think you progressed too fast? And if not, what would you tell to a new rider to do before getting a super bike? The short answer to that is yes, I probably did progress too fast, but I don't think I progressed so fast that it's been a significant danger or impairment to my riding and growth in riding. The R3, if I was to have an R3 again right now, after having the R3 and then R1 and get another R3 or ride someone else's, I couldn't push an R3 to its absolute limit in the canyons or on track or anything. I am not skilled enough to take an R3 to its full potential. That bike actually has a very, very, very high potential and a very high skill ceiling. It's very underestimated how those 300cc quote-unquote sport bikes, I say quote-unquote because most people don't probably view them as a sport bike because of the power, but in terms of ergonomics and looks, they really are sport bikes. Fully fared bike, right? 300 cc's have a lot of potential, and I mean, I didn't squeeze every last drop of learning that I could have done out of it, but I also wanted to have something that would take my platform to a higher level, take my riding enjoyment to a higher level. I didn't particularly enjoy riding a 300cc on the freeway. I felt it was lacking power. Some people disagree, but as a canyon tool to learn the basics and fundamentals, you cannot go wrong starting on a 300. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have driven 1,000 horsepower cars and you want to just go really fast. You're not going to be able to go very fast in the canyons as a new canyon rider anyway. And 300 cc's go through the corners just as fast or faster than leader bikes. So as long as you know what you're doing, you can still have a lot of fun on a 300. And what I would tell to a new rider before getting a super bike, leave traction control on, leave wheelie control on, use all the electronics. If you're buying an old bike that doesn't have electronics, you're really going to put yourself at a disadvantage, in my opinion, because the electronics, a lot of people say, oh, they don't save you, they're mostly for the track. No, I've gone back and watched my videos. Traction control has probably definitely kept the back tire from spinning during cornering in the canyon several times. So I completely disagree with that through personal experience. I think traction control plays a heavy role in protecting riders that are less experienced. And I'm glad that I bought a bike that has all the electronics on it. I think newer bikes are much safer to ride. That's my personal opinion. So definitely a good piece of advice for new riders before getting a super bike. Consider buying something that's newer with the electronics. That's my opinion. And if you're a new rider buying a super bike, it's a bad idea. I'm just going to say that. I don't think that me getting the R1 was a great idea. But I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I was getting myself into and prepared myself for it. So do the same. Do your research. Thank you, Hippo. Awesome questions. I could go on for probably 30 minutes about those, but we'll cut it there. So now we have a few questions from Kourtnee Maxfield. Shout out to Kourtnee Maxfield. I haven't seen you comment in a lot of my videos and stuff, but you seem to be very much enjoying them, and apparently I inspired you to try motovlogging, which is awesome. I had people inspire me to try motovlogging, so it's awesome to be able to pass that on. So 3 questions. Number 1, what do you think makes a good motovlog video? And then in parentheses it says the area you ride around, is it the personality of the person filming, a randomized third factor? So this is kind of a relative question, because a good motovlog video to me may be different than a good motovlog video to you. My personal opinion when it comes to having a good video, period, if you want to try and do something that's across the board, you need to have good equipment, you need to have good filming abilities, so your shots have to look good. And then on top of that, you also have to be good at editing. Editing, honestly, can make really bad filming look really good. And bad editing can make really good filming look really bad. So they kind of go hand in hand, but I think editing plays a very important role. So practice editing. I'm still learning myself. My edits are very, very subpar. It's something I'm still working on. I only have a certain amount of time that I can spend on them, though. But the more that I do it, the faster I get, and then the faster I get, the more I can spend on the minute details and slowly get better. So good question there. Number 2, a little bit of a longer one, is how do you feel about the way motorcycling is going, with more electronics being added to bikes and fully electric motorcycles in the market? Do you think it is a positive or negative impact on motorcycling? Do you think this might be a crutch to beginner riders who want something that's not, you know, clutch driven, is word for word how it was written? Or do you think that beginner riders will rely heavily on these new electronics in order to make them a better rider? Okay, so this is a lot to unpack here, so we'll kind of go through it slowly. How do I feel about the way motorcycling is going with more electronics added and fully electric motorcycles? Those are kind of different things. Big supporter of electronics because they're optional, you can turn them on and off. And fully electric motorcycles, I'm completely against myself. I think that they're stupid, personally. That's my opinion. I'm sorry if anybody here enjoys electric motorcycles or think that they're a cool idea. For me, motorcycling is an experience that involves all of the senses, and I think as soon as you remove the sound of the exhaust, it takes away much of the ambiance and the experience, and then the smell of the gasoline, the smell of the oil. There's a lot that goes into that for me that makes motorcycling, and I'm sure a lot of passionate enthusiasts would agree. And the sales, I think, also reflect that when it comes to electric motorcycles. Do you think that those things have had a positive or negative impact on motorcycling? The electronics positive, the electric motorcycles neutral. I don't think it's been positive or negative one way or the other. Do you think that it might be a crutch for a beginner rider who wants something that's not clutch driven? So when it comes to electric motorcycles, I'm going to say no, because I think that that's a very, very small skill gap to learn how to use a clutch. I think it's very intimidating for new riders, but I think learning the clutch is actually much simpler than most people think. And I don't think beginner riders are going to be buying electric bikes, and I think electric bikes are very torquey and probably not a good idea for beginner riders anyway. As far as relying on new electronics to make them a better rider, electronics don't make you a better rider. Being a good rider makes you a better rider. I think electronics help you be a safer rider. For newer riders that are building their skills, like me personally, I think that it's protected me a lot. So hopefully that answers that question for you, or those questions. Alright, and finally from Kourtnee, in your opinion, what would be one crucial element that would have to be added to motorcycling in order for it to become more mainstream and more socially acceptable, at least in America? And this is another interesting question to unpack. So I think motorcycling is socially acceptable. I just think that there are certain people that frown upon it because there are a small group of motorcycle riders that make the whole motorcycle community look bad. I don't think I'm a part of that group, but I think I can be seen as a part of that group. I think canyon riders have a bad rep because of the stuff that they're doing, but personally I think the people that give the motorcyclists the worst name to the general public, not that I have anything against them, but people that are on freeways doing triple digits, but high-end triple digits, 140, 150, 160, and then people on freeways wheeling, putting yourself out there in the public eye and doing a lot of stuff, for them to see. I think that is what gives us a bad name to the general public. And also riders that act very aggressively towards drivers, which I understand and I have done, but I also try and quell that side of me a little bit. And I've learned to stay a little bit calmer and a little more understanding, because I don't think being aggressive with people is going to solve any problems. It might make you feel better in the moment, but I don't think that it's the right choice. That's my personal opinion, of course. So great questions, Kourtnee. Moving on to the YouTube questions. My favorite restaurant / fast food restaurant, and this is from Sundude123. So favorite restaurant / fast food restaurant. It's kind of a tough one. In terms of favorite, it's going to depend on, my favorite all-time restaurant is going to probably depend on how I feel, but if I have to put one, it's probably Love and Salt in Manhattan Beach. Love and Salt. Very expensive, high-end restaurant, but some of their food is just incredible. The chefs there are awesome, and I also knew some of them personally. So, favorite fast food restaurant, super unfortunate, Taco Bell. Sorry guys, I love Taco Bell. Tips for beginners. If I have to break it down, get a bike that's suited for the purpose. Get a bike that you will be able to control, that isn't too powerful if it's going to be your first bike. Practice. Parking lots, slow speed stuff will teach you actually more than high speed stuff. And take courses. Definitely take courses. I'm a huge fan of motorcycle courses. You can learn more than you know, because there are amazing riders that will be teaching you. And then finally, please, at GAT, all the gear all the time. Wear all your gear all the time. The one time that you don't wear it is most likely going to be the time that you crash and wish you had it on. I have never ridden without full leathers and all my equipment and everything. So, literally not once I have not ridden without all of it on. So, do that for me, please. Things that you can improve. He's saying things that I think I could improve. There's a lot that I could improve. I could sit here and talk about a million different things, but I'm still working on throttle control for a leader bike. Obviously, it's a very big thing. Controlling wheelies, which yeah, I mean that's a little bit of a questionable topic, but you know, I'm still trying to learn to control wheelies. If I'm on the track and I'm coming out of a corner hot, the bike's gonna wheelie. You need to learn how to control it. And trail braking is something that I'm still delving into. I understand it completely, but applying it to its fullest extent is extremely difficult. Proper trail braking is going to be one of the toughest skills to learn, in my opinion, on a motorcycle. The problem that I have is as your weight is shifted forward and you're on the brake, to also maintain enough looseness in your arms to trail off the brake and start your lean can be pretty difficult. It's a balancing act, right? So you're shifting your body while you're still hard on the brakes, and you're coming in and turning while you're still on the brakes, but you also have to ease off just enough. Getting the balance right to where you're leaning down and releasing at the same time to get the maximum amount of speed all the way into the apex, that's a skill that is very, very difficult to master. I would say trail braking is extremely advanced. That's my opinion. Some people might think it's stupid easy. For me, it's been difficult. How is the weather in California, and how long is the riding season? The weather in California, it's pretty much the same year-round. Where I live, at least, some places, like in downtown Los Angeles, it can fluctuate. But where I live, somewhat near the beach, pretty coastal, we get 60 to 80. For the most part, it's 65 to 73 is like the range, like year-round. So how long is the riding season? The riding season is every day, pretty much. It very rarely rains here. Sometimes it'll rain, sometimes it'll thunderstorm, but it very rarely does. It never snows at all where I live. I've never seen snow in my life, 29 years here, so live in California if you want to ride, because we can ride year-round. Thank you, SunDude123. And then we got Marshall, and this is on YouTube. He says, oh, ask me anything time. What is your favorite place to ride in the LA area? So I'm going to take the LA area as most of Los Angeles County, from north to Kern County and then down to Orange County. So I'm going to take that whole entire area as Los Angeles. If I'm doing canyon riding and I want to go out to hit the canyons and like actually like ride spiritedly, Angeles Crest Highway, which is the 2, I would say is my favorite. It used to be Malibu, but there's too many cops there now. But if I just want to have a nice, calm cruise and just kind of enjoy the ride, I go to Palos Verdes a lot. Palos Verdes is like it's a hill. It's not like mountain range, but it's a hill, and it has like these really steep cliffs and just the ocean. It's extremely beautiful, very calming. I love Palos Verdes. Dream riding destinations. This is a great question, and I definitely have a list for this. So we have Palomar Mountain, which is in San Diego. I will be going there soon, so watch videos coming up for that. Palomar Mountain's on my list. It looks amazing. I want to go there. Let's see. Other than that, in California, I want to go to the Monitor Pass, which is near Lake Tahoe. I've driven through it, and then I said I have to come back here on my motorcycle, so Monitor Pass I want to ride as well. And then you have Laguna Seca Mazda Raceway is one of the racetracks, and the other racetrack that I always wanted to ride on is the Nürburgring. I'm not sure how that's ever going to be possible. It may be. I may have to rent a motorcycle, travel to Germany, obviously, but one day I will ride on the Nürburgring. It's just making the logistics work. We're going to figure that out, obviously. So yeah, Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, and the Nürburgring are the only 2 racetracks that I care that much about. It'd be really cool to go to Imola as well. But and then we have Pikes Peak, which little sneak preview is next summer. Supposedly, Max Rist himself is going to be going to Pikes Peak in Colorado, and I might go. I'm going to try and make it work. If he goes, I'm going to do whatever I can to get out there, because Pikes Peak is there, and if Risty's going to be there, I mean, getting to ride Pikes Peak for the first time and getting to be there with Risty, like that'd be a dream come true. So Pikes Peak is 100% up there as well. Then there's the Tail of the Dragon. I have to ride that someday. A lot of motorcyclists have rode that already. And unfortunately, one that I want to ride is the Snake, which is in Mulholland, but it's been closed for years after a fire, and no one knows if it's ever going to open up again. Unfortunately, I never got to ride it. And then there's Blood Mountain in Georgia as well, which I'm been told very good things about. So I have quite an extensive list, and I'm gonna try and do most of that in my lifetime. And then the next question here from Marshall is that if finances weren't a factor, what would be your dream car and motorcycle garage? So obviously, if finances weren't a factor, I could own every single car and motorcycle ever. But I'm gonna take it as if like in a reasonable sense. So we'll go with like 3 motorcycles and 3 cars. Let's see. So the R1, I would probably replace with an R1M because I love the R1Ms. And then my other dream motorcycles include the F4, I think it's called the LH55 or something like that. It's the Lewis Hamilton edition F4. That's a really, really cool motorcycle. I think it's like 75,000 pounds, which is British money. Let's see. Last motorcycle. Oh yeah, shoot, I forget what year it is, but it's a Honda CBX 1100, and it's a straight 6 motorcycle that sounds like a formula car. I would love to have one of those. And then the 3 cars would be tough. So I would like to have like a really nice truck that could do towing. That would be cool. And then I would have to have a 1991 Honda NSX right-hand drive. That would be really, really cool. I was born in 1991. The NSX has always been my favorite car. And then if I was going to pick like a supercar or a hypercar, the McLaren Senna. And if you actually see the connection there, the 1991 NSX, well, all the NSX first gens were actually developed by Ayrton Senna, a professional F1 driver that died at Imola, hence my Imola reference of wanting to ride there one day maybe. Rest in peace. He was an amazing, amazing person, amazing driver. And also the McLaren Senna is named after Ayrton Senna. So hopefully that answers those. He also said, always love the videos. The colder weather in LA has been nice to ride in lately. I hate the cold weather in LA, but the cold weather in LA for us is like warm for a lot of other people, and like, yeah, so anyway, thanks Marshall. And if you're in LA, hit me up, dude. Totally go ride. And then we got Lefty Lane, and he said, did you set up the ergonomics on your R3 and R1 levers, foot controls, and rear set position? Did you tune your suspension? And if yes, at what point did you do it? The R3, never touched any of that. The R1, I had rear sets. I broke a peg off. And this bike, when I bought it, had the rear sets on it already, and I loved exactly how they were. The new rear sets that I have on the R1, I need to change the shift lever position. I feel it's too close to my left foot. I want it a little bit farther back. So I do have to make some adjustments on these. And as far as tuning the suspension, I have not. I don't know that I'm ever going to do suspension work on the R1. We'll see. So hopefully that answers your questions, Lefty. Shout out to my Max fam. Next we got Lillian Hunt. 2 questions. If you had the chance to go anywhere to go riding, where would you go? I think I kind of already answered that, so I'll just recap that a little bit. Palomar, Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, Nürburgring, Pikes Peak, Blood Mountain in Georgia, and Tail of the Dragon. And what's my top 5 favorite restaurants? Another restaurant question. So obviously I already said Love and Salt. If I have to add 4 more to the list, it's going to get a little difficult. So I'm a fan of steakhouses. In the Venetian in Las Vegas, sorry, you have a Wolfgang Puck Steakhouse. We went there. It was excellent, very expensive. There's also a restaurant called Primo that's in Palos Verdes off of PCH, and they have a gnocchi alla romana, which I actually have posted on my Instagram page. It was probably the best appetizer I've ever had. It's like these like crusted potato cakes in like just cheese sauce with truffle on it. It's delicious. So that won me over there, and some of their other stuff looks pretty good. So we have Primo, Love and Salt. We have the Wolfgang Puck restaurant, Sir Winston's on the Queen Mary in Long Beach. It's a very special place for me. After I got engaged, that's where I had my engagement dinner with my wife. So Sir Winston's is also very special. And in terms of a last restaurant, I'd have to say probably the Kettle in Manhattan Beach. And it's not an upscale restaurant. It's kind of like an upscale Denny's, if anything. But I worked there for a few years. I have a lot of friends there and a lot of family there that work there as well. And that place is kind of special to me. And if you're ever in Manhattan Beach at the bars getting drunk, they're open. And you can just go straight there and just eat like just awesome breakfast all day and stuff. So the Kettle is very special to me. So thank you, Lillian Hunt. And this is going to be the end right here. After this, we have SJMudTurtle Cruises again, but this is on YouTube now. So besides motorcycles, what other things do you like to do? So other hobbies and interests that I have, I love editing, obviously. I love photography and editing photos and videos. I also am an avid video gamer. I don't know if you could tell, but I love playing video games. My game of choice has always been Rocket League. Kind of no-lifed that for a while. So Rocket League, if you play Rocket League, hit me up. I'll carry you, probably. But yeah, so other than that, I also have played guitar for most of my life, which a lot of you probably don't know. And I kind of have a little secret with that, but you guys will see. Just wait. I'm thinking of something. Maybe, maybe not, but I have a little inkling of guitar. I also have been a musician. I play drums and stuff too. Yeah, so music, very special to me. And then her next question is, what is your motorcycle bucket list? It's the third time, so I'll run through it one last time. So we got Palomar, we've got Laguna Seca, Nürburgring, Georgia, Blood Mountain, Tail of the Dragon, Pikes Peak, and I'm sure that bucket list will grow. I would love to ride like a Yamaha, like old school, like maybe even the CBX 1100, like in Japan. I think that'd be really, really fun. So that's it for the questions, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed my answers, you had a little bit of fun. If you were old enough to drink and you grabbed yourself a little alcoholic beverage, you sat and laughed a little bit, hopefully just got to know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my life, and who I am. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. I never thought I was going to make it this far, honestly. 100 subs was only my goal from when I started. And at this point, is monetization possible? I mean, I'm not going to say no. I definitely think it's a possibility. I'm hoping that I could eventually hit somewhere in that range, which is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 view hours, which I'm halfway there in terms of subscribers, but in terms of view hours, I'm not really close. But honestly, the biggest thing about this for me was being able to meet new people, talk to new people, enjoy motorcycles, and enjoy the motorcycle culture. And I have more of that than I ever thought I would as well. So I've just been blown away by all of it. The motorcycle community is definitely something special. And hopefully you guys enjoy my content. Hopefully I can continue to improve my content for you. And I'm always open for suggestions. If you think a camera angle is weird, if you think the lighting is weird, if you think the sound is weird or the audio, or if you think the writing is crappy and you think I should get better, just tell me. I very rarely take anything personally. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you guys again. The support has been awesome. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. And I definitely want to make content that's my own, that's unique, and that suits me as a person. And also content that I enjoy making. But yeah, with that being said, thank you for joining me here. Hopefully it wasn't too long-winded. Hopefully you stayed till the end. And if you did, cheers to you. And if you're new here, which I highly doubt you are because it's my 500 sub video, like, comment, and subscribe as usual. And just watch out for my future content. Hopefully you enjoyed the view of the R1 here. I look back at it every time, as Zechariah wants you all to know. Just such a beautiful bike. It's my dream bike. I love it. Even though I crashed it, I still love it. It's got character now. It's even more personal to me, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Ride safe out there, everybody. Ride within your limits. Develop your skills. Wear your gear, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.